Welcome to the Fight Faction Boxing Podcast with Aidan Thomas and Dean Griffiths. Every week we bring you the latest news from the world of boxing, review the fights from the weekend before, and preview the fights for the week ahead. We have a YouTube channel where we upload the pod in bite-sized chunks, and we also have a Twitter account where we try our very best to identify live boxing on TV. So with all that said and done, we're going to jump straight into this week's news. The first topic I want to talk about, Aid, is, have you heard about what Amir Khan's been saying about the Terence Crawford fight?
No.
He says he should have had the opportunity to have had a fair fight.
That's reference to the low blows.
Yeah, he's saying he thinks he probably would have won the fight had it taken place somewhere else. He says, like, at least he would have had the opportunity to have had a rematch. So he's really claiming that it's a low shot. He went well below the belt, his exact words. I don't know. I'm trying to read this as I'm read it out as I'm reading it. It's not making any sense. He's kind of claiming robbery
or unfair play, foul play. But
what was unfair about it? He's the one who visibly stopped. He vocally stopped the fight.
Yeah, and he wasn't like angry. If you got sort of hit, and you did affect the nether region, say you were a twisted testicle or whatever, then you'd be angry as a person when you think, I can't continue because this has happened. I'm just, and you'd be in a rage, wouldn't you? He just bow out.
Because
if you felt something was wrong, you go for a medical examination and you'd be screaming at the guy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he claims the fight was getting closer and closer, and he just lost. As a fallout to this, he's only gone and sacked Virgil Hill, or he's gone. He's not saying he sacked him, but he's not working with him next time. He's gone with Clarence Adams.
Bones Adams.
Yeah. He's gone with him.
I think Hill's probably told him to stop.
Hunter.
Yeah, Virgil Hunter. Yeah, he's probably told him to stop boxing.
It's like he's blaming all his trainers for him having a glass jaw and just not being the elite fighter he thought he was. I mean, he got to take some responsibility of that himself.
Yeah, he should have gone out in his shield, or at least done something a bit more than he did.
Yeah, his best. I thought good, right? He's taking his next fight in Saudi Arabia or wherever he's going. He's fighting low key, and I thought that was the best move on a marketing strategy. So then to turn around and then say, I was kind of robbed. I didn't have a fair crack of the whip and all this sort of stuff. There's a bad look in it. It suggests he's not playing with a full set of marbles.
No, he's looking for excuses to sort of justify his career now, isn't he?
Yeah, his best bet is never talk about this fight. Just say, look, you've seen the way it ended. That's all I want to say about it. Don't go trying to be victim in this. No one's going to, you're kind of a laughing stock as it is right now. So your best bet is to keep your mouth shut and just focus on your next fight.
Yeah.
Focus on the comeback. So, one of, Amir Khan's previous opponents, Jab Judah, give us all a scare this weekend.
Yeah, it was quite sad news, really, because, is he 41 now? I don't think he should be boxing. I mean, he allegedly got a career in nursing, so...
Yeah, it's a shame that there's a certain element of elite fighter that can only end this way. They keep rolling the dice, and he relied on his speed. He didn't really have much of a punch resistance in his prime. So this is the textbook ending. And I was looking through his record. I mean, it's a Hall of Fame career. I mean, lineal welterweight champion of the world. He's won multiple titles. I think he's a 4-time world champion, is he?
Yeah, he didn't need to go for this fight. He just stay out the game.
Must be hard. You're the center of everything for all these years, and then suddenly no one's returning your calls, or you're not invited to talk shows, or to it must be a hard thing, and you can understand why they do make these comebacks, because it's not the fighting they miss, it's the limelight.
Yeah, but it only seems to happen in America. If you look at the blueprint for European and British boxing, when people sort of achieve something and get out the sport intact, they've always got to roll somewhere else. Like even like Frank Bruno, he was doing like charity work, and they've all got roles elsewhere, and they revered. They still get asked on the TV shows.
Yeah, I
You,
suppose that helps because we don't get as many world champions as America does. We can embrace the ones we had.
but
We
then
can catch
again,
them.
you know, it's such a big place, America. There should be plenty of sort of minor TV stations out there running. Could have these guys on, couldn't they?
Yeah, you think in New York, I think Zab Judah wasn't he?
Yeah,
You'd think there's plenty of like community outreaches that he could be the face of. All these. He could still be called champ by somebody, by crowds of people because
yeah.
he's obviously an inspirational story to someone.
And don't
So you'd
forget,
think someone would
in,
use him.
when you got Madison Square Garden showing big fights, why not sort of have the New York boxers or past champions doing the commentary like they with Sky? Like Sky.
Yeah, get the Kevin Kellys and the Jab Judah. Get them all in there, innit?
Yeah, if you only give them say 10 minutes here and there once, twice a year, bring
Yeah,
them out. It shows they want it as well, doesn't it?
yeah. Get them the cheers. It's the cheering that they're missing, and when they don't get it, then they end up in these kind of situations where they they desperately fighting. They tarnishing. They're not tarnishing their legacy by any stretch because it doesn't get viewed in that way. But some people their only image of Zab Judah would be losing to a mid-level fighter.
Yeah, it's
It's like
true.
Roy Jones. The way that it is a whole generation of boxing fans that have only known Roy Jones as a loser.
Yeah, it's just staying too long in the game.
Yeah, it's a sad. Like you made a good point where we don't tend to have that in our country because number one, because we don't have that many fighters get to that kind of world level where they're undisputed champions like Judah was. So the champions we got, we really catch them. They've all got media jobs, like you said, and they tend to stay retired in this country.
Yeah,
It's quite rare when a fighter comes out of retirement in this country.
there's a
Isn't you know?
yeah, there's a good story, but well, two little ones. Box Nation wanted to find Antonio DeMarco, one of the former lightweights. They wanted to sort of ask him a few questions about the Broner fights and Edwin Valero, and he got hold of the wrong guy. They got hold of Tony DeMarco from the 50s. But fair play to Box Nation, they had him on the show then with a phone sort of question and answer section. So at least they're making use of the time with even with those guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you got an explosion of boxing podcasts that in the last couple of years. How many people would love to interview Zab Judah and ex fighters?
Anyone, yeah,
Yeah, no one would turn. Of course, the ESPN produced podcast might not be interested, but there are thousands of boxing fans who would love to do an interview. So there should be some sort of like organization that can point these boxers to public
yeah.
appearances and all that sort of stuff. I
Here's,
wonder.
here's, here's another one I've read this last few weeks. On retiring fighters. He's reading about Sugar Ray Robinson, and he wanted to retire before he fought Carmen Basilio. And he said, I'll retire if I win," but he didn't win, so he had a rematch, and he won the rematch. Then he wanted to retire.
Hmm. So
He actually retired 52 fights later. So isn't that crazy? You think he finished, and then you got another 52 fights going.
you got like two careers. It's just sad that we nearly lost. Boxing nearly lost. An ex-champion, and I wonder what kind of like medical procedures he was put through before the fight because it was a brain bleed that put him in a coma, wasn't it? That essentially rules him out from ever fighting again, is my understanding.
Where was the fight taking place?
Oh, do you know what? Don't know. I'm looking at in New York, and their commission is really tight.
Yeah, they should have there straight away into the hospital, because I was wondering with America, like, have they got to verify these people are covered by medical insurance before they do anything? So
Yeah, apparently in New York, you got to put up £1 million in escrow in
all
order
right,
to sanction a fight in New York. That's the case with mixed martial arts anyway. So I'm assuming it's part of the fight commission Same fight
Yeah.
commissioner overrules that. So you gotta prove that you can pay for these people if they get hurt.
Right.
But he's fought twice in 6 years, and going in against a live opponent in the way that he did. I'm surprised they let that happen.
Yeah, that's been naughty, the commission, that is.
It seems to be, doesn't it?
That's an irresponsible commission, so, people need to sort of look at that.
Well, the interesting thing about this story is that no one is saying it is his last fight, because it's, I can't imagine another another commission sanctioning him, but it should be his last fight, but you never know, do you?
The thing is with America, they got different commissions, they got different rules, and, I remember, it's obviously a different place, Argentina, when Jorge Castro he had a car crash, didn't he? I think he was in a coma and he was allowed to fight again.
There are commissions in America that will let you fight a bear, I bet, wouldn't they?
Oklahoma used to be one, but I think they've tightened up now.
the bear's got to go through a physical.
Apparently, if the bear's medical, he breathes on the mirror, and if it misses up, he's alive.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go, bear. The last little bit of news. Obviously, got a unification fight to talk about, but Teddy Atlas is getting into the Boxing Hall of Fame, but as a broadcaster. Now, to me, Teddy Atlas is the worst part of whatever show he's on.
Yeah, I've recently heard a couple of his podcasts, and he's quite a good, insightful knowledge guy. So I think he's better on podcasting because he doesn't have to shout. He just talks about the experiences.
And I suppose we don't get much coverage of him in this country, so we haven't had a chance to get used to his style as much because he's always on the American broadcasts, isn't he? But I hate it when Teddy Atlas is commentating. It puts me off. It puts me out of a fight.
He can do.
Yeah, he just grates at me, I remember that time he was the coach of Michael Moorer, and he basically physically assaulted Michael Moorer at the end of every round. That was his claim to fame. He was giving him more of a beating than Holyfield was.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. I don't dislike the guy, but I don't know enough about his broadcasting career to think of his international Hall of Fame worthy. But it makes me think about, is Jim Watt in there as a broadcaster? Can you go into these into the International Hall of Fame in 2 different categories?
Well, I suppose 3. You could be a promoter as well.
Yeah, because I wonder, is there anybody who's in there twice? I should have looked before I started the pod, but I'd imagine, I always thought Barry McGuigan was a good, broadcaster.
Yeah.
But, he was only in this country. I wondered if people like Roy Jones or someone else. I just, food for thought is all. Last bit of news is a future fight. It's Morris Hooker and what's his name? It's Jose Ramirez. Yeah,
we did a mini YouTube video asking who's his next opponent going to be for Ramirez, didn't we?
Yeah, it doesn't feel as special as it probably would have had Terence Crawford just gone through and done what he did. Because it's only last year we had a unified champion, so
and also a much bigger fight is Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're gonna try and match the winners up in there, but it's funny, innit? You wait all this time to have a unified champion, and then we could be in a position where the same divisions had 2 unified champions, who didn't beat the champion, who had to go and scoop up all the belts themselves.
He's a good fight, so I think Hooker Ramirez is a decent fight.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I just wish other divisions could do it this easy. Also, why is the junior welterweight so easy to unify to get the fights?
Well, not really, because you got 2 in the World Series, which is already predestined, and then you got Hooker Ramirez is collaboration between Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum, Top Rank. So, but it's going to be on the zone. So I'm thinking maybe Arum believes Ramirez is going to win.
I saw a lot of YouTube videos with Bob Arum this week, and wow, that man's still got all his marbles.
Well,
Yeah. He's just like, do you ever watch him on YouTube? He's IFL TV seemed to get a bit of access to him.
yeah, I've seen him on talking about Fury and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, what an interesting guy. I'd love to, he's the most important man in our generation in boxing, if you think about it.
I'm not fussed in his undercards, are they? Not that great.
I don't think he cares, does he? I think
No, I
he
think also
knows how to build a fighter.
because when you watch like some of the zone stuff now, shown on Sky, the undercards actually got good, meaningful fights. Where I've watched a lot of PBC and um, the ESPN fights, and they seem to be the undercards not as good.
Yeah,
Um,
there's owner selling the whole package, isn't it? It's
yeah,
interesting.
and what's great for the UK fan is when you staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning, you want to see a good undercard. This is why I think American boxing fans got to understand. We need the undercards because we have to stay awake for the extra 4 or 5 hours, don't we?
Yeah, but what does the couple of 100,000 on a big fight mean ultimately?
Mm.
Yeah. So, have you got any news to bring before we go over to the next segment?
No, I was listening to Terry Atlas early on one of his podcasts, and he was likening Anthony Joshua is a story of Castamato about gangsters. And basically, what he said is when a gangster first comes along, he doesn't care about nothing. He just gets what he wants, kills people or whatever you got to do, to get to where he is. But then he starts getting all the things he wanted, like nice cars, women, money, and that's when he starts to care. And that's maybe like a stage where Joshua got, where he wanted all these things, has got it all, and is he past care? Does he care now? Once
Mm.
you once you got it all,
Yeah, I was thinking that. I mean, Joshua just been announced on the Forbes list of richest people, sports people. Something like, is it $54 million he's generated
I
this year?
I like to say it's a bit messy at the top, isn't it?
Nice. When we think, see, £54 million, and that's just this year's earnings. And endorsements must have been 2030. How much does he care? This
Yeah.
is a guy who wasn't exactly poor, but he wasn't well off. He's now got everything he'll ever want.
The reason why I ask this is because people are saying, "Oh, it's his job. He's a boxer." But as we know, when you're working, if you win a lottery, you quit your job.
Yeah,
How many people
and
stay
if
in a job like, and when they win a lottery, like?
yeah, no matter how much I enjoy my job, and I enjoy my job, there's a monetary figure. There's a figure where I'll just see my job as a chore. If I've got X amount of money in my bank account, then that getting up in the morning and going to work loses its luster a bit. And I'm
Yeah,
not even boxing. I'm not hitting the road. I'm not road working, sit ups, and all that strength training. Because we tend to think boxing is just about the fight, but it's the 8 weeks, 9, 10 weeks camp before the fight, and then all the obligations afterwards. It's a slog when you're a rich man, isn't it?
yeah, and I think we haven't seen people just getting money and bowing out, have we? We've always seen the boxers sort of stay in the game for a long
Hmm.
time.
It's interesting. I mean, when you're poor and you make your name, it's a journey. Once you've made your name and you're rich, it is a slog. And it takes a. I wonder if Anthony Joshua, because the true greats, doesn't matter how much they got in their bank account, they're still animals, aren't they? But it
Yeah,
doesn't. You don't seem to get that impression with Anthony Joshua. I
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
right.
He wasn't a lifelong boxer. He come into the sport late. With like people like Lennox Lewis and all that sort of stuff. They were lifelong boxers.
Mm.
With Anthony Joshua, boxing seemed to be a tool to get him somewhere.
Yeah, it
And
could be.
now he's somewhere. I wonder if he'll have that inbred fighting instinct to be angry again. I don't know.
And the other thing I seen was Tyson Fury said he wants to fight 3 times this year, making a big deal of it. But when I read this comment, I was also reading, looking up Henry Armstrong's boxing record. I was looking at his
Yeah.
record, and this guy fought like I think it was 6 or 8 times in 2 months. I think on one particular occasion he fought the day after he fought some other guy.
Well, I found it interesting. They were on about we're obviously going to get to Triple G later, but they were explaining how the dynamic is changing slowly in boxing, where the boxers used to decide, or the promoters used to decide who they fought next, how long it would take to fight a meaningful fight, and all that sort of stuff. But they said whatever power the promoters got, lot is losing, because once they start signing up with these streaming platforms and they sign up for multi-fight deals, they're not getting to choose anymore.
Yeah.
Because the streaming platforms know that a shock upset, they want you, they win either way. You either win your fight or you have a loss. Either way, subscriptions will increase. You know, especially if you lose, because they found this with Anthony Joshua. People were subscribing just to see the Andy Ruiz knockout.
Yeah, and the Mexicans as well, like, so they, even though they haven't been in Mexico, yeah.
So they said, you know, post-fight, the last figures for streaming of the Anthony Joshua fight in full was 11 million people sought out that fight. So there's now, you know, Bob Arum is not in control of Tyson Fury's career anymore. ESPN is. If ESPN says, look, you fighting this guy next because your last numbers are crap.
Yeah.
You know, they can't take a gamble on pay-per-view and all that sort of stuff. And DAZN is, regardless of what Canelo wants next, is what DAZN wants next. Even Eddie Hearn was saying, they were interviewing about the Ruiz rematch. And he said, well, I would like it in the UK. He said, but ultimately, it's where DAZN want to put it. And I thought that is a major shift in boxing.
Because DAZN wants to have subscribers, and if they're in the US, they want to keep building.
Yeah. So Anthony Joshua, they were controlling this Joshua ship. Then they signed him up at DAZN, and now DAZN are in control. DAZN will tell Anthony Joshua where he fights next. And
DAZN are very happy that Sky are advertising for free as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I got something else to say about DAZN, but it's pertaining to Triple G fight, which I'll leave for the next segment.
Yeah, one last item in news. I think Andy Ruiz was honored in Mexico City. Well, technically, he's not really a Mexican. He's just got Mexican parents.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, you know, how do the American boxing fans feel about that? Because you got a guy who's American all his life. Now he wants to become Mexican. Surely that's a slap in the face to the Americans, isn't it? And the American people.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I'd find that offensive. You know, if one of my countrymen was, okay, if you got heritage of another country, yeah, you feel free to welcome it. But they're selling him as the first Mexican heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And he's not. Thomas Hauser was being interviewed on one of the YouTube channels, and he said, let's get this straight. Andy Ruiz is no more Mexican than I am, essentially, because he's American. So he's an American heavyweight champion with Mexican heritage.
Yeah, that's like every black sort of fighting in America saying they're the first African champion or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, you can say, like you said, you know, the people who get it right say Mexican American, but he's technically not that either. You know, he's American.
But you can either be one or the other, can't you? It's like like what we call the joke in Irish as well, Irish Americans. But if you talk to the Irish guys in Dublin, they'll say no, they're American. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Do you see the Snickers made Andy Ruiz a championship belt?
It's good advertising for them, isn't it? You know.
Now, fair enough if he hadn't been making a big point of Snickers, but if he hadn't been making a big point of Snickers, that would be extremely offensive.
Yeah, but like again, Snickers, well, the company who owns Snickers are thinking, wow, you know, free advertising.
Yeah, name dropped, a nice clean cut image of this guy. I'm loving this Andy Ruiz story. I really am. I see him. He was in the airport the other day, and it was just like a kid with a fake belt, because he got a kid face, isn't he? You know, he's adorable.
He looks like the kid of Up, doesn't he? Up the cartoon.
Tyson Fury said that, didn't he? And it's just a lovely story, and but yeah, he's there taking photos with his Snickers belt.
Mind you, could this be the era of the fat heavyweight?
Yeah.
You know, could we see a couple of big, like, butter bean sort of guys just waddling around for the next couple of years after Wilder, Fury, and
Teddy Atlas said Andy Ruiz's win has put personal training back decades, because no one's going to see the need to have these chiseled physiques anymore.
Yeah, what's the point in sports science, isn't it?
Yeah, some people got a body type, but they don't burn fat, mind, don't they? Yeah, I've seen marathon runners who are chubby, and I'm thinking, how the hell's that?
No, they're not 280 pounds though. To be fair.
Well, no, it's 290. Let's give him the credit for his extra pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit. He
Don't
could do
don't
better than that.
don't sell yourself short now.
Yeah, I don't want to fat shame him at all, but it's unavoidable, isn't it? It's unavoidable. He knows as well because he said, and he wants to like be able to take his top off and look a bit more chiseled because he knows his kids are going to look back years from now and see his dad with the pictures of the belt.
Yeah.
He wants to show him that he took it serious. But yeah, I wonder if they haven't said yet, but I wonder if the Snickers belt will be up up for fighting in the rematch.
I'm glad their Snickers got in there because the WBC would have put a sanctioning fee on that one if they got in first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or unless they're going to do a diamond WBC Snickers belt.
Yeah, well, we're laughing now, right? And Snickers become a major governing body now.
Aye.
Oh, Jesus. Right, so that's it for the news. Yeah.
Yep, well done.
Oh. Go.
So, fight news of the week. Did you see any? Did you see the Kevin Lerena fight?
Nope. Never heard of him. Did we talk about him last week?
You've talked about him a few times.
How?
He's under your radar, I think. Empress Palace, Saturday the 8th, Kempton Park, South Africa. So anyway,
What weight is he? What weight is he?
He's a cruiserweight.
Oh,
I'll go through some of the cards. The first fight I saw in the undercard was Keaton Gomes, gone to 6-0 now with a routine points win over.
What weight is he?
Cruiserweight. Yeah,
he's a cruiserweight as well.
Yeah, as well. Amado Kalonji.
Yeah.
He was close and he was scrappy and good in parts, but I didn't take 100% attention in this fight. But the guy coming in was 3-0 as well, unbeaten. So
someone's over to go.
And it's a good thing to see them matching up sort of two guys, before they even get the contender level. So it gives them an idea which one's going forward, which one's going, needs more to learn.
Sounds awful.
But he was all right. I think he's a future sort of cruiserweight star and probably give him, say, 2 or 3 years.
He's a amateur. He got amateur pedigree, is he?
I don't know much about this guy, but they seem to be touting him on with the commentary. So,
right.
But one other guy on later, which I like and don't like, is Boyd Allen. He's a junior middleweight. He's 4-0 going into this fight. He fought Alexander Zuransky, 13-5 going in, and he was one of those fights where, again, he's equal sort of, one the experienced, one inexperienced. But they're talking about Boyd Allen, and all I could see was a guy with his head in the air taking shots.
Yeah.
And I think they need to slow his progress down. They keep matching him with sort of fighters with vastly more experience than himself. And I thought initially it's because he had a good amateur career, but he hadn't. He's had 30 amateur fights and didn't get to the top. So they need to slow him down before they do some damage there.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're sitting on the next Lomachenko these days, don't they? So they're rushing him everywhere.
Ridiculous. I think he was in a 12-round fight in his third fight, I think.
Yeah.
You can come from a 3-round fight. It's a shock to your body, isn't it?
Yeah.
I sort of skipped the next fight because I got bored.
Sounds terrible, Carl. Why are you watching these cards for?
He's Box Nation. He was like,
it's Box Nation showing over there. I thought it was one of those strange European channels.
No, he's 7-0. Juliani McKenzie, and he was 140 pounder. Initially started off quite good. He was fighting Michael McKenna. I've seen Michael McKenna before on an upset win in one of his previous fights. And this guy, I think he's fought in. I think the guy, he beat Usander Kamatsi, upset win there. But he's been in the UK and who's he lost to? It doesn't say, but I'm sure he's fought in the UK at some point. And that was not a bad fight, but it's sort of, I don't know, he got a bit boring. I think it was one of those fights which shouldn't have been 12-rounder. He should have
Sounds
been
like
sort of like
none
a
of these
10,
fights.
like an 8 rounder, and it would have been all right then. But
Who's promoting this card then? Why is it on Box Nation?
I don't know who's promoting the card.
Why is
Doesn't
it
say.
big enough? Why is it big enough to be on Box Nation? I want to know.
Um, I think basically because the top guy Kevin Lerena, he's of the promoter must have signed a deal,
Right.
and I think bigger things than expected. I think they're looking for a bigger title because he's made about 4 or 5 defenses of this IBO Cruiserweight title now.
Who's he
Like
in against?
he's in against Vasil Dukar 7-0 and 1 draw, but he was out of his depth to be honest. He's like he's the fights you don't want to see where you see a tough guy, up and comer, going in against an experienced guy, and you think, well, he's not ready. What's the point in this fight? And this is what happened in this fight. Kevin Lerena just more or less sort of won nearly every round. And, the other guy was just taking some big shots. But one thing come of this now, you can tell that Lerena hasn't got a lot of power. He looks powerful, short, stocky, and he's hammering away, but he's not getting knockouts.
Is he? Wasn't what nationality is he?
South African.
Right, he was a hometown card.
Yeah, he's 6'1". They look for probably the winner of the World Boxing Super Series, but I don't see this guy beating any of those guys.
Yeah. You know when Box Nation show these kind of fights, did they have their own commentary crew, the Barry Joneses and stuff?
On occasion, this time they didn't.
They had the local commentators, did they?
Yeah, it's broadcast by I think it's World Super Sports in South Africa, who seem to have a lot of fights because during the fights they're asking, "Are we going to get the Triple G fight? Or are we getting this fight?" And they all seem to be replying, "Yes, you're going to get that fight and this fight." And so I think they sort of cater very well for the African audience.
Right.
So it's a big channel out there, and it's obviously got a lot of viewers. So perhaps the fallout of that is they want to sell the rights to other companies.
Yeah, it makes sense why they got a relationship with Box Nation now.
But it's one of those cards. It's sort of quite forgettable, I think. But it's some good. You see a couple of good things, but probably not enough to warrant watching it for 4 hours.
No, I haven't got the same sort of passion as you because you just love the sport, don't you? I'm more into the headlines of the sport, and I wish I could sit. I can't even do it with MMA. I can't sit through nothing cards. It's
Right.
I find it hard. So
Yeah,
well done.
unless you got a vested interest. Like I want to see this Kevin Lerena because I thought he's improving, but I'm disappointed to see he hasn't got a lot of power.
Yeah.
Because if you ever look at his build, you think this guy can whack, and his punches sounded good, but people are not falling over. So, but I think the other guy on the undercard might have some promise. At 140, that Jabalani McKenzie. I think he's only 7-0. He's gone 12 rounds. I think maybe a year or two we'll see more of him. But one interesting thing about the South African boxing now is PBC in America seem to be buying or bringing a lot of these fighters over to fight on their channels. So that's a good thing. I've seen quite a few South Africans fighting and Nigerians on the PBC cards, and people I hadn't heard of, but perhaps they'll buy this guy and give him more exposure. That's all I can say on that card now.
Well, where are we going next?
Right. Should we go to the Triple G cards, eh? Yeah,
yes.
we go for Triple G.
Did you now interesting thing about this card, they zone run an experiment, didn't they? Where they decided to block every country except the country that the fight was taking place, trying to find some analytics on something. It was a planned experiment. So we didn't get coverage of this in the UK.
I did. I logged on to QAZ Sports from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I have no doubt you go, but it wasn't broadcast. It wasn't broadcast in this country, and I thought that was a bit spiteful.
Yeah.
If you think about it, but apparently it was to find out the effects of blocking a country. I don't know. Eddie Earn was talking about it.
Yeah, it's a good idea because apparently the Anthony Joshua fight had 13 million people watching in Nigeria, streaming it. So the zone hasn't got a presence in Nigeria, so
Yeah,
perhaps they want to see where these
it's
views are coming from to get the presence, you know?
yeah, because it's very it's brilliant marketing. Now you've brought my attention to it because you will get to see what countries you need to invade, so to speak. Because I don't think they're doing it to crack down on piracy. I think they are looking for new markets. So
Yeah.
they now know Nigeria is a market worth entering.
Yeah, for that sort of fight,
Yeah,
Joshua. And
should be interesting to see what kind of data they pulled from this Golovkin fight. But
and the
it's bad that I would have probably stayed up for this because I would have been expecting an upset. You know,
yeah.
so
I mean,
I would have tuned into this because I was convinced that Steve Rolls was somehow gonna kind of win. It was only based on what Ru has done the week before.
I
As a bet,
didn't I yeah, I didn't mind his skill set either when I watched him.
yeah, I
So
haven't seen anything of it. I can't find any footage.
right.
I've seen like highlights and stuff. I read fight reports and they said he was taking a couple of shots early. First 2 rounds, Steve Rolls done well, and then Golovkin opened up on him. Is that how we went?
Well, I was impressed with Rhodes' defense, and he was catching Golovkin with some counters throughout the fight, but it was like trying to push water up a waterfall. He was scoring good shots, but he didn't have the power, I don't think. So he was catching Golovkin with shots, but he wasn't having enough power in his shots to sort of make a difference, make Golovkin go backwards or whatever. But Golovkin did show a bit more sort of speed in his footwork, if anything else. I think you can't really say he's improving to 37, but he did seem to show a different side of him. I think this new trainer might have speeded up his footwork. That's the only
Yeah,
improvement.
it's too. I mean, one of the most laziest fighters I've ever seen was Jonathan Banks. So I'm hoping his training methods have got a bit more urgency to them.
Yeah,
Because he was a frustrating fighter to watch, Jonathan Banks, wasn't he? Because you think like with just a little bit of an extra 10% effort, he could have been a bit more formidable. But every time he had the spotlight shone on him, he come in lazy. And I always wonder then, can you trust a trainer who didn't even take his career serious?
yeah, that's the thing, innit? And he took the training job
Ooh,
during his career as well, didn't he?
that was Aiden sharing me a link of the fight. Did
And
you
he's
have had? Did you? How quick did you find out? Didn't you type in Daily Motion? What's that?
Shh, you can't divulge my
Yeah. No, but did you have that on standby waiting? Because I
No,
didn't.
no, I didn't have it on standby. I just know to get it. Um,
You didn't type nothing. Yeah, I put it up on
but
our website.
but another good outlet for boxing. If you want to watch more fights, you just get a motorized satellite dish, and
What? What's it got like wheels on it?
no, he just goes to the wherever the transponders go, and you just program
Ah,
it, you press the button, and it turns.
that makes more sense. I was thinking of like Wally with a
Yeah.
thing on it with more control. Oh, I'll watch that. I'll well, I don't know what to say now because are we breaking the law? I don't know. You're going quiet, so I'm assuming we are. Right. Right, fight review, please, Ed.
So yeah, the Rhodes fight, Rhodes come to fight. He wanted the upset, but he didn't get it because he didn't have enough power. But he was catching Golovkin, and as soon as Golovkin hit him with a massive uppercut, I think it was a left uppercut, straight through the guard. I think it was the fight was over.
Was he catching? Was he hitting Golovkin, or was Golovkin willing to be hit?
It could be either.
Because Golovkin's a bit of an animal. He likes to taste a bit of it, doesn't he, first? So was it like he was just happy to just take what this guy was doing just to feel it? Like, I don't know.
But I think Rhodes is quite a strong fighter because he looked solid, and he did take a bit of beating down, you know. So
Anything in his performance to think that the Canelo rematch trilogy fight is going to be any different?
no, but a lot of people have had those fights Golovkin winning anyway, and so you know.
Yeah. The consensus round that I heard for this one was going to be a
I
third
had
round knockout.
Golovkin. Yeah, I had Golovkin winning the last fight purely. Well, when he hurt Canelo, in, I think it was round 11. I think I
Yeah,
had him winning the fight, but
yeah.
it is
You were
what it is.
biased though. You and our other friends are Golovkin fanboys. Canelo whipped him in the second fight.
Well,
And it matter one fight can cause so much controversy because I was convinced Canelo done enough in both fights. I definitely deserved the draw in the first fight.
and you call me a fanboy.
I don't even like Canelo. That's the thing. I don't like any of these. I've never liked Triple G, and I've never liked Canelo. I admire them, but I've never liked them. Watching the fight without any emotion and just enjoying for the spectacle it was. I saw a draw, in the first fight, and
But I think
we watched it together,
yeah.
and I called it as a draw before it happened. Me and
But you fell asleep when Golovkin was winning those rounds. That's what it was.
No, I didn't see anyone winning the rounds in the first fight. It was comfortably a draw. In the second fight, I didn't get to watch with you, but it was comfortable. He fought Triple G's fight and beat him. I don't see the point in the third fight, and that's with no stake in any of these fighters.
Yeah, I think De La Hoya doesn't want it, and I think he'd age a bit more. But I think the fight should go somewhere like New York or somewhere a bit more neutral.
Yeah, I love the fact that De La Hoya got no power now with DAZN. He's so desperate for DAZN's money that he can say that Triple G got to win another fight, but he got no power. He's going to be told what to do.
But what was interesting was before these fights happened, I did say I got Triple G winning the first fight, and if there's a rematch, Canelo wins, and that's what happened, didn't it? Really?
No, Triple G. Canelo got robbed in the first fight. One of the worst robberies I've ever seen. Now, I thought the first fight was a fair result. I don't think there's anything between them. There's hardly anything in between their skill sets. But you got to look at time now. You got to look at the ages. But then you look at the ages, and Canelo has had a tough career, really. So he could age just as quickly as Triple G does.
I think. If this fight comes off, I think Golovkin, for him to win, he'd have to put his whole career, whatever he's got left in his tank, all in this fight. And then, he's a short fighter completely after it. So, but will he put that effort in? I don't know.
I don't think it'll matter. I think Canelo will fight very much on the outside. It'll be a very boring safety first performance by Canelo because he's gone toe to toe with the guy. He's got his major win, fighting at his style. I think we're going to see a very boring fight, the third fight.
Yeah.
And Canelo will just be, Triple G will just be following him around the ring.
So surprising, yeah.
But I would be like 117, 110 sort of win.
Yeah, it could be like that, couldn't it? It could be a fight which just throws us off and think, well, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be disappointing.
So the undercard wasn't really worth mentioning, or if it was, I didn't see any of it anyway. So
no, you're looking at it, the undercard on BoxRec, and terrible undercard.
Few new ones up and comers, but it's like if you don't know them, they need a bit better build up. I remember seeing fights broadcast by Channel 4 in the UK or S4C, and they were actually building up. Do you know when you see like the bottom tier card? Like the guy's like 3-1, and I guess the guy with like say 6 losses and 4 wins. They were building up those fights so much you wanted to watch them. They said it was a local rivalry, and they didn't like each other, and there's Twitter this, and they made it so you wanted to watch the fight. I think they should do a lot more of that with these fights.
Well, I think this was one of Golovkin, when he signed the DAZN deal, he signed like a 3-fight deal for his own promotional stable.
All right.
I think this might be one of them. So I think it's a case of Golovkin packed it with his fighters, but hasn't got anyone of substance quite yet.
Right.
Because Madrimov is Ubak, same country as.
I've seen him box before, but he was on another card in Kazakhstan. I think he was on the undercard of Babit Shumanov, is he?
Yeah, and Akhmedov is a Kazakhstan as well, the top 3 fighter, So I think this is you can't really blame DAZN on the card for this when it's the deal they made to get Golovkin. So the cards this type of card is always going to be poor.
Yeah.
So anywhere else we're going to go?
The Oscar Valdez event. Right. I seen the highlights of Robson Conceição, who's 12-0, fighting Carlos Ruiz. and he looked flashy. And I think it's one of his. The only thing I'm disappointed with is this guy's not showing enough power this weight. He's featherweight, so. But then again, Josh Warrington hasn't got big power at that weight, so he's, you know.
Yeah, is this Conceição a volume fighter or?
Yeah, he
boxer?
looks like a volume fighter, and if it's the same way I'm thinking of, he's a former gold medalist in the Olympics.
Is he? Because
So
when you're a volume fighter, you don't need power, do you? You know.
No, I think he needs to settle down his punches a bit more, and then plant some better shots, and I think he'd get the guys out of there. It's one of those things.
He's an Olympian. He's not Olympic champion.
Yeah, I think this guy was.
In 2012, he's a gold medal in 2016, but in 2012 he lost to Josh Taylor.
Because in 2016, the crowd, it was one of the biggest, loudest crowds I've ever seen for an Olympic champion. Every sort of punch was cheered from the rafters. If you could ever watch his final, you'd probably never see an atmosphere of that size making that much noise. It's crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's a top rank fighter. I didn't know it was a top rank card.
Yeah, top rank, ESPN, and Oscar Valdez under the same banner as well.
Yeah, we're not on the Triple G fight now, are we? Sorry.
No. This is in Reno Sparks Convention Center, Reno, Nevada, USA.
Yeah.
So
Reno, Nevada. Sorry to interrupt. Reno, Nevada. Is that where the Las Vegas Strip is? Is that Reno, or is that a different part?
I think it is.
It is the same place.
From my understanding, yeah. Unless it's an American enlighten us, I don't know. But
every time I hear Reno, Nevada, I think of trailer trash. I don't know. I just assumed it was off strip.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the main event, Oscar Valdez, usual stuff again. This, I think it's the sixth defense of his title. He's now 26-0. But I can see improvements in it. He's with Canelo's trainer, I think.
Is he?
And
he said he's moving up after this fight, didn't he?
Yeah, he wants a bigger fight. But the thing is, how long does it take to get a unification fight? And he hasn't been calling up people. So only now he's mentioned Santa Cruz. Whereas before, they'd ask him, "Oh, you fighting next?" And he'd just say, "Oh, whoever my management decides, or whoever the promoter decides." Well, if you've got a voice, you should say we want to fight. But now you got, like, if you think now, ESPN, Frank Warren's on board. Why didn't they put him against Warrington? Because Warrington seems to want to fight all the top guys.
Apparently, I've been hearing Frampton's name for Valdez's next opponent.
Yeah, that'd be a good one as well.
That could keep him in the featherweight division, because that's still a big scalp, isn't it?
And the PBC is sort of hell bent and protected Santa Cruz for some reason, because Gary Russell Jr. is fed up waiting.
Yeah, his career's a bit stagnant now, isn't it, Santa Cruz?
It's like you've got all these good featherweights in the division now, and a lot of unbeaten ones as well, or ones who won loss, and you think they're not fighting each other. This division now needs to have them all fighting each other.
Yeah, do you know, when I think of the featherweights, right, that's how anonymous Santa Cruz has gotten, or the super featherweights or anything. I don't think of Santa Cruz's name anymore, and yet 3 years ago, I was thinking of his name a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like they've done a really good job of making him anonymous.
It's crazy, me. All these guys with big promoters, nobody's fighting each other. Like this fight on the weekend, you can see up against Jason Sanchez, 14-0. And he's a good fighter, but he's not ready for the big time. He's I'd say about 6 or 7 fights away. But he's thrown in there. He showed good jabs. And then I think Valdez sort of sussed him out within about 3 or 4 rounds, dropped him in. Oops, was that a dog, was it?
Yeah, that's a dog. Sorry.
Yeah, he dropped him in round 5, and then he sort of cruised to victory, but he wasn't cruising, he was hurting Sanchez. I thought, what a waste. This guy should have been, fighting more people to get a title shot when he can win. Not just take an early one and then lose,
Yeah,
there's too many champions now.
There's been too many champions for too long, but by saying there's too many champions, I love 4 champions. I like it. I do enjoy 4 being 4 champions. It's like these promotional practices that outdated now.
Yeah, but look, if you look at the amount of fighters on offer, like if you take, for example, the women's division, one of the women's divisions, there were 17 contenders in the whole division. And if you think now you've got the WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, and even the IBO jumping on the women's boxing, and the interim or the sort of diamond belts and all that, everybody can be a champion, can't
Yeah, but
they?
you know the way the promoters are now, we're living more than ever in an age where we want things now, right? So these promotions with their old school tactics of letting fights marinate, we don't live in that. We live in Netflix era. We don't want to wait weekly for a TV series, let alone months for a fight that's not,
Yeah.
And we want to. I don't think we'll be having many of these conversations 2 to 3 years from now once the streaming gets full swing.
I hope not, because like it's frustrating seeing Valdez just going through the routine and then seeing the other guys doing exactly the same thing and not fighting each other.
Mm.
Like years ago, you had 2 belts, and think, well, that was bad enough having 2, but you got 4 now, and they're all of equal standing because, like when we first saw the IBF, we thought, no, it's just rubbish, and then they got established, and then the WBO come along.
I never thought the WBO would establish like they have.
But it's not because they've done well. It's because the WBC have been corrupt and because the WBA have gone and created multiple titles for one division.
Mm.
So in a way, the WBC and WBA, they could have shut these guys out by keeping their integrity intact, and making the best fights. If you look at the WBC the last few years, they haven't mandated mandatories as such. They've turned Dillian White into the next Jack Johnson. we go around the world now and try to get his title shot. Like,
I loved it when they tried to get Tyson Fury to fight in a sanctioning in an eliminator. Tyson Fury told him where to go. He said, "I don't fight in eliminators. People fight in eliminators to fight me."
But also that's opened a can of worms because Eddie Hearn wanted clarification on what Dillian White's got to do to get his mandatory sorted out. And they mandated Tyson Fury fight Dillian White. So Fury declined. And now the WBC have got to mandate another fight. If they don't, they got to give him a shot anyway. Because if one guy is not willing to fight in an eliminator, that guy goes forward in regardless, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see now if this goes to court.
Well, let's get over to the Tyson Fury fight, is it?
Is another card I'd like to sort of gloss over.
Oh, God. There's nothing else happened. Where's this taking place?
No, I'm mistaken. It was a VIP card in the weekend. I didn't watch it, and we put I probably post a link on YouTube at some point.
Yeah. You can't review fights you didn't see.
No, I'd like everybody else to review them. Need an audience. And the other fight on the Friday was obviously Zab Judah. You covered that against Kletia Seldin.
Yeah, we covered that abomination.
So that's out with that's over and out with the reviews.
This weekend, Ed, what's the chances of seeing an upset in the Tyson Fury?
Bookmakers are making something like 50-1, I think.
50-1.
Yeah, I think I've seen some bookmakers doing 50-1, so that's going to be the highest upset in recorded history, I think.
And I bet that's them being guarded. I bet it would have been a lot higher than that. And Ruiz not won, but they protected themselves probably at 50-1 as well. Yeah. Was it you who told me that Tom Schwartz is only ranked 7th in Germany?
No, I think he's higher than that in Germany, is he?
Oh, no, it must have been the Steve Bunce podcast then. Yeah, in the German national rankings, he's ranked number 7. No, in Box Rex. You go to national country, he's ranked number 7.
That is interesting, because I would have thought he's higher than that.
He would have, wouldn't he? He would have. Yeah, that's...
Like we talked about Tom Schwartz before, and the reason why we don't like this fight is because he was on an undercard where they were building up the European champion. We thought the logical step is for him to fight for the European title next, and then it didn't happen. Straight to Tyson Fury.
Yeah, so that fight's happening is not going to be... You don't know with Tyson Fury. I don't know. I don't trust myself anymore. I don't trust since Andy Ruiz destroyed Joshua. I do not trust anything right now. I was convinced the Triple G was going to lose last weekend, and I'm convinced because I like Tyson Fury. I really like him, and wouldn't that be interesting to see the both British kingpins taken out in the same, in a matter of weeks?
Yeah, I suppose it would be.
It's Tom Schwartz. Yeah, you can say he's not very good, but we really don't know how good Tyson Fury is.
The thing is, what they're hoping is Tom Schwartz is not going to be like a Joe Calzaghe, where he hadn't fought the greatest opposition leading up to the world title fight, and then he sort of exploded on a scene with a great victory with you over Eubank, wasn't he?
Mm.
They don't want to see that, so I think they thinking he's going to be ground down or something.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been pro for 6 years and he hasn't been rushed. That should tell you a lot in itself.
Yeah,
his progress has been slow, so the chances.
And the thing is, if they were confident of him becoming world champion, they would have probably made the European title fight first.
Yeah, it would have happened. Yeah, it would have definitely happened. I just don't. They got a cheek to put this on box office, on pay-per-view. It is terrible. I don't know if it's on pay-per-view in America, but in our country it is, isn't it?
ESPN Plus is $5 or $10 a month, I think.
Oh, it's on the streaming over there, isn't it? Yeah.
But box office in the UK, and it's unlikely people are going to buy into it not because the fights are bad. It's because I think it's Father's Day Sunday, and a lot of people want to be up doing things and not lying in bed, because this fight will probably take place at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's going to ruin your weekend. It sort of upsets your weekend a bit, then when you go to bed like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're up at 12 or 1 o'clock, and you're out of sorts. And
you take days to recover from a big fight weekend.
Like when you're young, free and single, you can do that sort of thing. But when people got more commitments and families, it's a different thing now.
Yeah, because Sundays to us, we can't recover. We can't stay in bed until, because you got our partners shouting at us to do shit around the house.
Yeah.
It's but this is annoying because America isn't, all this talk since the zone come on the scene, pay-per-view is dead, and yet we've seen an increase in our country. And yet we know we can see these DAZN, people enjoying DAZN in other countries, and we're still stuck with these one-off fees.
Yeah.
It's like the Anthony Joshua fight. I would have happily subscribed. They would have had me as a subscriber, and I probably would have stayed a subscriber. But they put it on Sky. I'm not paying 20 quid or whatever it is for a one-off fight when I know there's other people getting it for $10.
Yeah, and it's early hours of the morning, and like I say, committed to early hours of the morning now. It's like they say, pay-per-view is not really good in the UK for Joshua's fight, but how many Americans would stay up till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning watching boxing?
They don't, do they? They wouldn't. It's just every other country's benefited. We're the ones as boxing fans. We provide a lot of coverage and a lot of exposure for boxing, and yet we're the ones that get treated the worst.
Exactly. So for this reason, I'll be watching it the day after probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If 5 Live are out there on radio, and I normally with the boxing lately, I've been getting up and just listening to it in bed because I find the coverage on the boxing on the radio is quite effective, and yeah, I can afford. Of course, I can afford a pay-per-view fight, but morally, I can't afford to pay for this kind of fight.
No, it's too early hours in the morning. It's 6 o'clock.
And too meaningless.
I think it's 8 hours difference, isn't it? It's 8 hours difference between Vegas, and so if they have it as at 10 o'clock, main event, that's a big if. That'll be 6 o'clock in the morning for us. No, is it?
Yeah.
Well, they behind us by 8 hours. So,
but as a strategy, right? They've just signed this new deal. BT have got Tyson Fury on their platform for the first time. Make this fight free because the next one's Deontay Wilder. Make this one free, and you might get double. You won't lose in this fight.
No, that's right.
BT, they give the Champions League final, the biggest, most sports event in the world. They gave away that free 3 weeks ago. Give Tyson Fury this fight. Give him to us for free because it's a double header. You got the Warrington fight and then this, and then if he's a good performance, you probably get double. You won't lose. You'll get double the pay-per-views for the Wilder fight. Give us something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because you run every risk of Tyson Fury stinking out that joint on Saturday and killing the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, because if you pay for that, then it's a dreadful event.
Yeah.
You feel ripped off and you're tired as well. And when you're tired, people are worse than they like.
You won't pay a second time.
Yeah, if it's prime time at 10 o'clock, you get away with that. But when you spend all your Saturday and Sunday morning watching that, and it's bad,
you're gonna hold it against BT.
Yeah.
It's messy. I can't believe we're talking about this because 2 years ago on Tyson Fury's, or a year ago on Tyson Fury's comeback, this fight would have been slagged off. They wouldn't have dared put it on pay-per-view. No. And yet he gets knocked down in the 12th round in the world title fight, and now he's a pay-per-view star. Don't get it. So let's jump over to the other big fight that's happening. What's the Josh Warrington?
Yeah. BT Sports as well. USA ESPN Plus.
But it's free in our country, that part of the card, isn't it?
Yeah. If I was watching from the US ESPN Plus, I'd be watching this, Bill, because it's a genuine grudge match. The end of the card, I won't go through it all, but you got Zelfa Barrett fighting for the vacant Commonwealth title against Leon Woodstock Jr., both with the 1 loss each, and both good boxers. That'd be a good match of styles. James Metcalf, 19-0, fighting Jason Wellborn, who recently lost to
Hurd.
General Hurd, the junior middleweight titleist. That'd be a good fight. If Metcalf gets through this, he's probably on the way to becoming world ranked. And finally, Josh Warrington fighting Kid Galahad. 28-0 Josh Warrington and Kid Galahad 26-0.
I'll be watching this.
That's going to be a tear up.
Yeah, I'm watching this.
They really don't like each other, do they?
No. Well, it seems one-sided. It seems Josh Warrington's a victim here. It's Kid Galahad who's caused all the turmoil. It seems to be. When will this Josh Warrington story end? It's a strange one. Is he the favourite in this, or?
Yeah.
He is this time, is he?
But Kid Galad's obviously a live underdog. He's got a bit of a Brendan Ingle style. Nassim Hamid.
It's a 50-50 matchup, isn't it? Regardless of who the favourite is, it's a winnable fight for both fighters.
Yeah.
Kid Galahad seems to be the more marketable if he comes through this in impressive fashion.
It's the name, isn't it? Where's that name from? It's like a knighthood, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
I'm hoping Warrington's going to produce a performance like he did against Frampton. I think he'll get the edge there. So, what was your pick?
Galahad.
I'll go with Warrington. So, I think it'll be a points fight as well.
My head tells me Warrington, but I just feel like he's the type of style that doesn't seem to last long. He seems to fight out of his skin in every fight, and you can only leave your skin so many times.
Yeah.
So
check the ring apron from last time. Your skin is still there.
He keeps shedding it. So it's for that reason. But then Kid Galahad is mouthy, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying into his hype. I don't know, but it's really exciting. I can't wait. This is worth pay-per-view. This is worth something, not the Tyson Fury fight. And this is the one we get for free, isn't it?
The thing is, the US fans, obviously, having watched Oscar Valdez last week, there wasn't much of a rivalry there. This fight will produce the rivalry they want to watch. So, it's one fight. It'll probably be to the wire, won't it?
Yeah, it should be. Oh, it's just exciting. I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad Galahad opened his mouth and just talked this fight into happening, really, didn't he?
Yeah, because they were thinking about going through other avenues, but yeah, this is on now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very exciting fight. We've got to wrap up soon, so you had another fight that you wanted to identify?
The last bill's on Sky Sports. It's probably the same time as the Josh Warrington fight. So I'm also on DAZN. It's the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight.
Where is this set? Where is it been taking place?
This is taking place in Riga, Latvia. So you got on the card, the undercard fights as well. Is Andrew Tabiti facing Junior Dortigas. That's another semi-final. Dortigas obviously lost one fight in the last series, got KO'd in 12, but he looked like a really strong come forward combination puncher. He looked awesome, to be honest. He just thought the other guy he fought, Gassiev, took him out with some big punches. Up against Sandro Jabiti's undefeated Floyd Mayweather senior protege.
Why is this for the interim title?
Well, obviously, Usyk hasn't fully relinquished all his belts, have he?
Oh, right. Did not know that.
So they are sort of, he's relinquished a couple of them. I think the WBC is going to be vacant. I think WBO and like I said, it's just the interim IBF. So I think that's going to be a full title before long now. But this fight is interesting because Tabiti is undefeated. He didn't look great last time out, but he had a decision win in Russia. And Dortigas, he looked okay, but he was dominant. It's a pick and fight. I'll go with Dortigas because of the experience, and he looked imposing in his last few fights. So, but it's all for Tabiti to win. If Floyd Mayweather Senior says he's going to win, it's for him to prove it. And the fight probably could be fight of the year coming up. Myris Briedis, 25-1, versus former champion Krzysztof Glowacki. Briedis, the big puncher, and Glowacki seems to be like a Holyfield sort of fighter. Come forward, take the punches, and it's going to be an explosion. That fight's going to be awesome, I think.
It's interesting that they both lost to Usyk and they're only defeat.
Yeah.
Yes,
like Briedis had the closest fight with Usyk, but I think that's because Usyk stood toe-to-toe. I think he would have been an easier fight if he stood off. But for that reason, I'm going to go with Briedis. But I think it could be a later on knockout as well.
Yeah, I didn't even know this card was happening. Where's the promotion for it then?
I know. But
if you want
to see some of his power shots, check him out against Manuel Cha.
Yeah, check some links up on our Twitter channel, on our Twitter page.
Yeah, I could do that, yeah. Build him up.
Yeah, because someone's got to give this this card some exposure, because there's nothing. I didn't know it was happening. Unification fight. Well, it's not a unification fight, but it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, WBC and WBO. So yeah, so at the end of this tournament, the winner might have 3 belts. So that's more or less undisputed, apart from the WBA. So
who's sitting on the WBA? Still Usyk, is it?
Yeah, you got the Super Championship. I think Babit Shumanov.
Oh.
He's got the WBA and is an interim belt as well, hanging around. And the Emeritus Champion as well, which is I think it's just too many.
and they Snickers title as well.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be might even be fight the night if it ends in a knockout, but it's that type of fight.
I haven't got access to Sky Sports, so I won't be able to watch this.
Well, I've got a Now TV pass now for this, so.
Oh, you got it for that event, have you?
Yeah, you can get a one night pass, can't
you? Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll watch that first, record the other one, and then go straight into watching the Warrington fight.
Will they line up like that, do you think, Ken?
I may have to watch the Warrington and the card first before I tune into this event, because I think this starts at 9 o'clock.
Right.
On Sky, so yeah, I want to watch. So there's both channels got good fights. And as a quick mention, there's another matchup on Box Nation Sunday.
Oh, cool.
That's Dmitry Kurdashev, the Russian Hammer, fighting Ilunga. Oh, I can't think of his name. The guy who lost, lost to Tony Bellew.
Right.
Ilunga Makabu. They both punchers, and it's going to be a quick fight probably, but it'll be good to watch.
Right. I'll do the rollout then. Thanks, guys, for listening to our pod. You can get in touch with us by leaving a comment on Podbean, our YouTube channel, or directly via Twitter at faction_fight. We're always looking for feedback to help us improve the Fight Faction Boxing Podcast, even criticism. You can find the links for our YouTube channel and our Twitter account in the description of this episode. Thank you, guys, for listening. Do you want to say thank you, Wade?
Yeah, I'll say thank you and get involved.
Yeah, get involved, please. We need some feedback, because we...